Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining this session. So the session is about this concept of scaling responsible AI solution, this interplay between scaling an AI solution, but keeping it responsible. So it also tells you about a little bit about a project that was in place within an organization called the Global Partnership on AI that took place for the previous 2 years, 2024 and 2023, that was around this concept where we worked with many teams all over the world to understand together, learn from each other what it means to scale responsible AI solution. So I'll tell you a little bit about that environment, and then the second part of the session we'll have some discussion. So I will start with an introduction, and then again I will give some awards that we gave to two of the teams that we worked with during 2024. And then we will have a panel discussion and questions from any of you. And then also the last part is how you can engage with the future of these activities that we have around this concept. So this project is called Scaling Responsible AI Solution, SRAIS. It was a project, as I said, as part of the Global Partnership on AI. It had these co-leads, people that were leading the project, but many others joined the project as well. So one is me, Francesca Rossi. I work at IBM. I am the company AI Ethics Global Leader. Another one was Amir Banifatemi, a Chief Responsible AI Officer, Cognizant, and then Sundar Swaran, a Director of SaaS Micro. So the three of us were facilitating these activities that required the participation and engagement of many people in different roles. Some of them were AI teams, some of them were what we call the mentors for the AI teams, and these were experts on various aspects of AI and responsible AI. So, as I said, this project was for 2 years, but it will continue also in the future. That's why at the end we will tell you how, if you're interested, you can engage in this project. And the idea was really to focus on helping AI teams understand how to scale their solution, their AI solution, while keeping it responsible. And in this helping these AI teams, we employed this mentorship approach. There were some mentors, AI experts, that were working with the teams for several months during the year. And here, we really wanted to help the teams understand the responsible AI challenges that were specific to their project, but also to help them operationalize, once they understand the challenge and a way to solve it, how to embed this solution into their work plan. So this is the process that we used. So here is just a very simple way that we started the project with this idea in mind. So there are some solutions that are easily scalable, but they're not responsible AI solutions. There are some solutions that are responsible AI solutions, so they address issues such as fairness, explainability, transparency, but they're not scalable, or if you scale them, then they go out of this responsible AI space. So we really wanted to get all the three quadrants, and to bring all these teams in a place where they could be able to scale their solution while keeping it responsible. So we had two, let's say, global tracks over the years, one in 2024 and one in 2023. But in 2024, we also had an additional track for projects and mentors that was specific for Africa, where the AI environment now is really booming, is really maturing a lot, but it has its own specificity. So we really dedicated a special track to that environment. And again, we matched teams with mentors, and these groups, each team and the set of mentors, usually 3 or 4 mentors, they work together for several years to identify these responsible AI challenges specific to the team, and then to plan, to understand how to embed and plan the operationalization of addressing these challenges. Here is a visual that we put together to understand what phases we had and what we plan to have also in the future of the project. So we had a first phase, let's call it, we called it the deep dive, meaning the mentors and the teams work together to identify the challenges. What is your main challenge? Is it privacy? Is it transparency? Is it explainability or something else? So focus on one challenge around responsible AI and understand how it's relevant for your team and what we can do to mitigate it. And this is the first phase where there were several sessions together, mentors and teams, to identify the challenge, refine solutions, and understand how to mitigate it. And then the second phase, which is the operationalization phase. Once you have known your main challenge and how to possibly address it, how do you embed this way of addressing the challenge into your work plan for your project and your team? So these were, and then we had deliverables in the first phase and in the second phase, and then of course we made some resources available from the first year to the second year, for example, a mentorship, guidelines, and the guidelines for the teams, so that we could build and not start from scratch also in the second year. We learned several lessons by working with more than 30 plus teams in the global track and as many in the African track. So first of all, that there are many different challenges that teams are focusing on, scaling responsible AI solutions can mean different things in different contexts. Many teams were not mature, and that was a good thing that they participated in this project, because they were not mature in their understanding what responsible AI means and how to identify clearly the challenges around responsible AI. So I think the mentors helped them in that process of maturing their understanding of responsible AI. We realized that we had to adopt different approaches for different teams. There is no one approach fits all for scaling responsible AI. We helped the team. Some teams were overwhelmed by many dimensions of responsible AI, so we helped them identify and work on one challenge only, so that they could really focus on clearly define it and then addressing it. And we also saw that even in small time, many months, but of course it was not a full time spending time with mentors, but even with few mentorship sessions, these teams really increased a lot in their understanding of what it means to scale responsible AI solutions and in operationalizing those solutions. And so hopefully my understanding is that in the future we'll be much more able to progress with responsible AI solutions in their work. And also, again, of course, the responsible AI really is a technical thing, but is mostly about awareness and education and training of the people that are working on responsible AI, besides being something to be about a technology that can be addressed with some technology solutions, but mostly with people awareness and training. At the end of this, every year, we identified few teams that demonstrated really an amazing path from the beginning of the project to the end of the project in terms of their awareness increase and their ability to think more clearly in terms of responsible AI and really understand what it means to scale responsible AI solutions. So at the end of 2024, which is this last year, we identified two teams, two projects, and these are the two projects. They are all come from the same overall organization, which is Orange Innovation Poland. One project was about satisfaction recognition, and they will tell you more about themselves, and the other one about is called personality AI. So I would like to recognize both of them now. They are representatives for each of these two projects, and I'm really happy to give the certificate of this award here in front of you. So if you come, Isabella and Jakob, thank you. Yeah. And somebody, maybe Arnaud to take a picture, somebody, Arnaud? Yeah. Okay, congratulations. So why don't you tell us, while you're here, stay here, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your project?
Okay.
Isabella, start.
The first one is about the satisfaction recognition. We call it satisfaction recognition, but in fact, in the simplest words, was to adding the layer of emotional intelligence to the virtual agent. So we are focused on the recognizing from the multiple data, from the voice, text, video, and others, the state of the user, and use it in the real time for the proper reaction of the virtual agent. And virtual agent, in this way, can simulate almost human reaction in the conversation. And this is very complex project. We started and we continue it now with many research, and that's all. Yes.
So as you can imagine, interacting and reacting and interpreting the emotions from these various kinds of data can raise several ethical challenges and responsible AI challenges. So that's where we really work with the team to understand these challenges and address them. Jakob, what about your project?
Okay, our project was about personalizing user experience, but with respecting users' privacy. So we have to somehow produce a solution to the personality and privacy paradox, because probably all of us want to have tailored services and products specifically for us, but not too often we want to share our data. So instead of gathering the data and prepare a user profile on our side, we have come with the solution to send the predictive model to the user, to their devices, and to prepare this profile only on their devices and use it only there.
Yeah, so this was... I add one sentence?
Yeah.
Because we are, in fact, one team in the Orange Innovation, and we are working on the more human, more seamless technology to be used in the for example, cobots in the workplace also. And this is one... This is two stream we work. Satisfaction is recognition state of the user and personality, because they are dependent. So the evaluation of the reactiveness of the users is dependent on the personality the user have. It's one. And the third stream is about the naturalization of the conversation and conducting, yes. Mm-hmm. So this is all of them are connected.
Okay. Yeah, the second project, the one that Jakob described, also, it's clear that it raises this typical question that we found also in other teams. The question about collecting data to make the service that you're providing more personalized, and this in principle, of course, is a good thing. You have a more personalized service, but at the same time, you have this data sharing. So how do you protect the privacy? How do you protect, leave the user in control of how this data is handled? So that was found not just in that project, also in other teams and other projects that were participating in these activities. Okay, so stay there because now we are going to start the panel discussion. And here the goal that we have for the panel is really to give you an idea of what we did with these teams. So to understand better what it means to be a team in this project, the journey that they went through, why they chose to participate in the project, what they got out of the project as a learning, hopefully, experience, and also to discuss the idea of this mentorship, this approach that we used, where we paired and matched mentors and teams. Understanding, describing the benefits and the challenges from the team point of view, but also from the mentor's point of view, as well as the lessons that we learned. So the panelists are four. So the two of them already you have seen, and I will briefly present them. So Isabel, you have known her. Isabel ꜱᴍᴜᴜ is a technology leader, a psychologist from the University of Warsaw, psychometrician, data scientist specializing in data analysis. She has over 20 years of experience in consulting, market research, designing data-driven devices, and developing AI-based solutions that enhance user experiences while ensuring privacy and ethical standards. And this were very central to the two projects that were awarded. She works currently in the AI Research Center at Orange Innovation Poland, and which is as part of the 꽱ᴜᴜ research program, which focuses on developing AI-driven models for personalized digital experience. And she emphasizes the protection of human autonomy, privacy, well-being, ensuring that AI serves people without causing harm. Thank you for joining here. Jakob ꜱᴍᴜᴜ, okay. He's an expert at the Orange Innovation Poland and also a PhD candidate at the Warsaw School of Economics. He received his master in sociology from the Institute of Sociology at the University of Warsaw, has more than 15 years of experience in the field of data analysis, statistics, and research, especially in solving classification and regression problems, specializing in statistical modeling and machine learning techniques, supervised and unsupervised, and currently consults on R&D projects in the area of mobile application, data processing, segmentation using telecom operator, big data, and data-driven product development. Thank you, Jakob. Okay, so the next panelist that I'm calling up is Gilles. Gilles Farad calls himself as an innovation addict, right? That's the way you like to call yourself. With more than 20 years in new product development and ecosystem management worldwide at companies such as Qualcomm and Texas Instruments. He first tackled AI in the context of his Master of Electrical Engineering at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, and never stopped focusing on emerging technologies since then. His deep fascination for the impact of technology on society led him to contribute his industry experience to various organizations such as IEEE, the Global Partnership on AI for the mentorship approach that we use, and the World Economic Forum for safe system design. Gilles is a director of development initiative at AI Commons. His main areas of interest are in capacity building for safe and responsible AI and sustainability. Thank you, Gilles, for joining. Okay, the last panelist that I invite is Norbert Zobse. Thank you for joining. He's associate professor in the Department of Computer Science at the University of Yaoundé 1 in Cameroon. His research interests include machine learning and related areas. He's currently supervising many master and PhD students around AI, and is the president of the executive board of the Cameroon Artificial Intelligence Society. Some of these ongoing research projects are around AI for marine environment, and another one on exchange for speech research and technologies supported by the European Union. And of course, Norbert was part of the African track that he will tell us about during the panel discussion. Okay, so let me start asking questions. Then I'll pass it to you. Okay, so let me start asking a few questions, and I start again from Isa and Jakob. So tell us from the point of view of your two projects, what motivated you to join this project in pairing with mentors and doing this path, which required also some of your time, instead of working on the project, you had to work with the mentors within this project?
First of all, we come for the knowledge, and we would like to learn a lot. But the main motivation was that we are working in R&D, as was said, and we have hardly ever get possibility to recognize the responsibility, because, as you know, in the business company, the only focus is on the growth, on the success, on the efficiency, but nobody play focus on the responsibility. But we are highly aware that we are touching the area in which are many things to protect. In fact, for many years we working on the protection, the privacy in context of data we collect. But now we realize also that we should protect the autonomy and of the human being, their value, and we would like to validate and get the valorization of what we think and what we have done with mentors who can help us to prepare this final solution. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jakob.
Yes, I will not be too original because this is something that Isa already mentioned, but maybe in other words, in your name you have scaling responsible AI solutions. This is something that this is exactly what we needed and we still need, and this is what organizations need, companies, corporations, because we are, I think, in the phase of the global change in thinking about AI, that it should be more ethical and more explainable and just responsible, while also scaling up.
Yeah. And they are also very humble, because when we announced them that they won this award, Isabella was telling me that she was so surprised. She would not believe that she got it, right? Okay, Gilles, why don't you tell us, you didn't participate in this project as a team building an AI solution, but as a mentor. So can you tell us a little bit about this mentorship experience?
Sure. So first, maybe from a process perspective, the mentorship, as you saw, is pretty much kind of a six-step process. Four of them are, the first four are focused on identifying the areas of responsible AI and scalability that you need to focus on and build a deep dive plan. And the last two are about operationalizing the process. Now, the process that Francesca shared with you on the screen is a process that includes mentorship, but it is also a process that you can take in-house and pretty much use and develop, not to focus on one specific aspect, but addressing all of the responsible AI and scalability issues that you have to face, and having the ability to build a plan and execute on it. So it is quite a blueprint, and I invite you to talk to Arnaud, who is sitting in the back there, if you want to get more details on it, because there are further activities that will happen in that space. The key takeaways that I noticed as a mentor for the process was it reflects well an important aspect that is often overlooked, which is that no two solutions are equal. Francesca referred to it as no one size fits all, but not only from the perspective of just two solutions are not the same, but also it's not like you have a checklist and a template and you can apply it to all solutions. You have to go through a process of profiling your solution. What is the solution that you're building? For example, the two projects that Isabella and Jakob just described, even though they are related, are two separate projects with their own challenges. And so each one of them need to be tackled differently, has issues at the responsible AI level, essentially that might be different, that have impacts level, and the impact combined to the probability of its occurrence identify the risk level. This is why very often we use risk-based framework in these approaches. So the ability to profile is embedded in the process, the responsible AI process, to profile your solution and to identify, extract what are the highest issues that you need to tackle from a responsible AI perspective. One takeaway as a mentor was that very few people are actually aware of responsible AI aspects, in the sense that they understand high-level concepts like accountability, privacy, transparency, but it is hard for them to see how they translate at the level of their solutions. And very often these teams are machine learning teams, because we are talking about AI here, and their focus is really accuracy and performance. And achieving that accuracy and performance for them is achieving success for their solution. So I think when they start discussing and have that profiling of the solution and engage with us in this process, they start realizing that there is another dimension beyond beyond just the functional requirements that they have, that are ethical functional requirements, and that these need to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, in fact, I remember that in some of the projects, for example, we identified additional KPIs that had to do with the ethical dimension, besides the one that they were considering about accuracy and performance and so on. Another thing that I remember from the mentorship process is also that we saw that besides the technical challenges that these teams were facing, there were also non-technical challenges like relationship with the other stakeholders, or with the local government. No? So we worked with teams that were, I remember some of them were in Europe, in Canada, in Africa, of course, we have the whole track, but also in India, in Mexico, and some of them really were challenged by the way they could work in the local environment. So depending on where they are, the challenges may be different and not just technical, right? Okay, so Norbert, tell us a little bit about this African track. I know that you had more than 30 teams that you worked with, not you specifically, but the track. But you worked, for example, with some of them as a mentor. And so maybe you can tell us about two of them of your choice, and then what you think is very specific of the African track and what happened during that track.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank Semia to invite me, and I want also to thank ACTS from Kenya, from who I participate to the project. And then in the Africa track, we have two important projects. One of these projects is called Down AI Study. It is about education, Nigeria project. In this project, the goal of this project is to support students with learning disorders. Then the project aims to go through the limit of the traditional education system, like accessibility to these students, personalized content for the student, and how to have adequate tools for students with handicap. And then they provide, they use AI to provide personalized learning content, and to enhance accessibility to this content, and also to improve the educational outcomes. During the project, we tried to explain to the team what is bias in the AI, what is the discrimination, what is the cause of all these problems in the AI, and how to try to mitigate all these problems during the project. For example, in this project, We have, as they are implemented in Nigeria, Nigeria is a very big country, the most populated country in Africa. And then they have many, many languages. And then at the beginning, the Down AI was just in English. And we asked them how to do with those who are speaking Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulfulde, and many other languages. These 4 languages is the most speaking language in Nigeria. We have also many dialects there. And then we have also the problem of technology. In the situation where we have many people, but with low resource in terms of technologies. And then the solution for that is to think about frugal AI. So we have this kind of AI which will be used in very, very low resources. Because in Africa, we have problem of energy, the problem of technology, and so on. And at the end, in the plan, the 4 point in the plan, the team will collect the data from other people because they are based in Lagos. They will try to travel in other part of the country and collect data and work with local personality in order to have a good data. So another project is Clean Life Agriculture from Cameroon, my country. And then it is with young engineer and young student. Then the main goal is to support farmer in the management of plant growth and plant health, and finally to improve the health of all this. But they try to focus on overuse of the water, how to manage the use of pesticides and chemical product, and how to mitigate the misapplication of all these products. And at the end, how to save the health of the population in the neighborhood of the farm. And then, what we have done with this team, the team take the problem very, very high, because in the definition, the problem, they have to detect a product disease on cassava, on coffee, on many, many other crops. But during the mentorship, we asked them to be focused on only one culture. And then we decided to work on tomato. And then for this, we advised to the team to work with farmer, to work with expert of agronomy, and to visit the farmer, because as computer engineer, you should not stay in the office and decide what to do on the farm. It's not possible. And what we also do with this team is how to implement the solution using a very low resources. Because in Africa, you have very unbalanced population in the agriculture. You have someone who make agriculture for survival, another person who make agriculture, a little quantity of person who make agriculture for business. Mm-hmm. And then if you collect data only for business, you make exclusion, you exclude many, many population. And then we asked the team to try to make the data very, very representative of the population, taking into account the gender, because some women also make agriculture like the men. Take into account the geographical area when collecting the data, the languages, because also in Cameroon we have many, many local languages, in more than 250 languages. And then we have many persons who don't read either French, either English. So we have to collect data. And then, as the problem of electricity, they try to use, because the solution they try to implement is to use a robot. And then this robot will walk around the farm and help a farmer to manage the water, to manage the pesticide use and other. And then for this robot, they try to use solar energy in place of other energy. I think this is what I can say about these two projects. There are many other projects in the track, but I present only these two.
Thank you, Norbert. Really, it shows really that there are, every country, every territory has its own specificities, and in particular, maybe in Africa, in the various countries in Africa, some of them are common, and that shows that really these have to be taken into account. You cannot talk about an AI solution in general, but really where it wants to be deployed. So I think we have just not much time left, so I'll do a second round, and maybe Isa and Jakob to tell us from your point of view of your two projects, what lessons you learned and what you will bring forward in your work, in your respective teams at Orange Innovation from this project.
Okay, we have not in small amount of time, but I try to conclude. First big lesson I received from the mentor and from the workshop is that the responsibility means high awareness what we are doing, and high awareness of what your decision will bring us in the future. So the decision should be made not based on now, not based on the consequences in the very close situation of the decision of the matter, but also with the big perspective and long term. Yeah. This one. Second one is that the basic tool I received from mentors is the tool and technique of prioritization. So if you have such project as we have, it's very complex. The map of challenges was very complicated and very detailed, and we must reduce it to the most important one, because if we can focus and we can manage all the balances between very big amount of small things. So we go from the top, from the big priority to the lowest one. And the third one is also important, maybe not from the mentor, but some kind of effect wow in the project when we work with the team and we recognize that the scalability is not only the technical way. It's not only the technical scalability, but scalability is also about about scalability of the values, which was assumed at the beginning. Yes, it's purposes and responsibility also. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jakob.
Okay, Isa have told you about meta picture, and I will say something about a very specific challenge that we had. I think that we came to the mentorship. We came to you with thinking about responsibility in the start. We have prepared our project as a responsible project because we didn't want to invade privacy of our users. But you have shown us that that's not enough. That we have to also empower our users with possibility of choosing what they want. If they want this personalization at all, if they want to share the data not with the company but with the model that is already on their device, which data they want to share, and that they should understand, and we should explain them how it is working. Maybe on the basic level, but we cannot just throw the thing at them, even if it's responsible.
Okay, thank you. Norbert, back to you. So what As you said, they described what they got as team, leaders. But what did you get as a mentor from this experience?
As mentor from this experience, I can say I take many things about what I can share with you here. For this experience in African context, I can say that for me, I trained myself about responsibility on technology in general and on AI in particular. And how can I detect discrimination bias in the technologies, and sharing my knowledge with young people. Some of them were my students. I improved my network in research because during the mentorship, we exchanged with many other colleagues in the continent. And I also implement the exchange about the best practice in the technologies. The difficulty we have here is, in Africa context, is about the internet connection, very bad internet connection. You can plan the meeting for 1 hour, but as the connection is not very good, you will do this meeting during 2 hours. Okay, the lack of data, good quality of data, we don't have it. We don't have data in general. So, but students try to use data publicly available on internet. So local data, we don't have it. It is one of the challenges. And another problem is the turnover of the team. As Europe need these students, many of them leave the work and go to Europe and America. And an example of this problem, we have it in green life agriculture. During the mentorship program, 2 of the team members leave the work and go to Canada. It's one of the challenges we have every time. And you have the very diverse population to manage in the work. And then here are some challenges we have every time. Okay.
Thank you, Norbert. Gilles, some final words about, again, the future. So you're saying, or you already said now that people may want to adopt the same methodology. So what else can you say about that? And then we will give information about how to engage with this project in the future.
Sure. So I think and it's part of the lessons learned as well. Yeah. The first thing is that people underestimate responsible AI. So as I mentioned, they don't know exactly what a responsible AI is. But often, and we see this in mentoring, not only in this project, but across, there is a moment where they realize that it is important, and not only that it is important, but that it means that they have to factor it in, integrate it at the very beginning of the development process. And suddenly they realize that ethical requirements need to be factored in at the requirement level, the same way as the functional requirement for the solution to work. There needs to be ethical requirements integrated into the process. And I think this is the first realization that they have. And the second lesson learned, and I think is very important, is that because they don't realize that responsible AI is important, they don't factor in the resources for it. So very often you have teams who are on board on these projects, but that have no responsible AI education. So they need first to learn, and then they realize that it's not even their job, it is kind of an add-on job or a side job or something additional that they need to do, and then you have a problem of resources at the project level. The third point is about scalability. Francesca showed you a 2x2 chart where essentially from every one of these quadrants you can get to scalable and responsible AI. That was a big issue because a lot of teams were interested in scalability. And actually what my personal approach was, at least my personal approach was, first focus on responsible AI, then focus on how you scale that responsible AI. In the sense that once you understand the responsible AI aspects, then you have factored in requirements that you will need for scalability. So for example, in the case of the examples that Norbert used, you have data underrepresentation. You have solutions that have been built for certain population where the distribution of the data matches a certain population that might not apply to new populations. You have some populations that have underrepresentation of data. You have some population that will react differently to things. So from a scaling perspective, make sure to integrate responsible AI, and from that responsible AI, basically, you can look then into scaling your solution.
Okay, thank you. I don't think there is time for questions during the session, but we'll be around if you want to ask questions. But here, maybe it's some information about how you can join if you are a team or you want to be a mentor of a team in the future of this project. So you just need to send an email to this email, scaling@simia.org. Simia is the organization who will organize the future of these projects. Either if you want to be a country that want in its territory adopt such a mentorship approach for example, startups, or you want to be an expert to be considered to be a mentor, or you are an AI team that wants to join, just like we did with these teams. You find here, somewhere around here, these flyers that describe the whole approach, the same picture that I showed you on the slides, and give you a lot of information, and also give you a QR code to find the final report of the 2024 edition of the project, so where you have much more detailed besides what we told us here. And so I think that let me join me in congratulating and the winners of the Changemaker Award, but also thanking all the panelists for this insightful, hopefully for you also, discussion. Thank you.
Thanks.